Okay, here is a two-part series. Part 1 is laying in the basic sky and part 2 is developing the clouds. This was from a live feed that I did a little while back as a result of a live feed from a mural that I was working on. So that got a lot of interest, and I figured folks would like some hints on how to work with clouds in acrylics. Okay, folks, welcome, and I'm doing a live paint today on a large canvas. Hang on a minute, I'm trying to, okay, folks, there. I have my laptop on so that I can see me doing this to make sure that I stay square, and the fact that you're not looking at the ceiling of my studio, which unfortunately was the case a couple of weeks ago when I tried to live feed. I'm learning and I'm making mistakes, but hey, I'm just gonna plow along. Right now I have a 24 by 36 canvas. This is the back side of it. I just wanted to show you I stretch my own. And this one is, yeah, it is gessoed. This is a gallery wrap. This is plain old cotton canvas, and I gallery wrapped this piece and gessoed it, cotton duck. And the reason for doing this paint is because I did a live feed a couple of weeks ago of me working on a mural that consisted of clouds, and people were fascinated with me painting the clouds. So I thought I would just do a demonstration of painting clouds in acrylics. Acrylics can be a challenge, but you know, everything is difficult when you first start, and that's the whole point of practicing. I have some acrylic paint here and titanium white, and I've got a little matte medium. I'm going to thin it with a little matte medium instead of water. And the reason I'm doing that is when you thin acrylics too much with water, it loses its ability to stick and cover, and we wouldn't want that to happen. I am using a cheap China bristle brush. This one I have used for a while, so it's not shedding anymore, but they're notorious for shedding. They are cheap brushes. I use them in mural work. I have literally for decades, and the reason for that is that they don't carry a lot of paint and they aren't heavy. When you work on a mural piece for hours at a time, your arm just feels like it's going to fall off. So I am painting white paint over the entire surface. It's not going to stay wet, but I want to give a ground of acrylic paint. Now here, even though this brush is old, okay, you can see there where I've got a hair that has shed. The way you come at it, kind of get some of the excess paint off your brush. You come in at a 45-degree angle and you lift, and see there, you pick it up. All right, so I police my work as I go. Don't drop it back on the paint. Yeah, all right. And I'm scumbling, which means going in varying directions and literally scrubbing the paint. I'm putting down a thin layer. I don't want a thick layer. And I'm working on a tabletop right now instead of an easel, just because that's my setup. In the near future, I will be doing demos on the easel because I'm going to start doing some big abstracts. That's what I ultimately want to do. Although my tutorials will be different subjects, because a lot of my students like realism, or at least expressionism. Impressionism. They want to see a flower. They want to see a sky. They want to see a subject. All right. There we go. I know it's not very exciting yet. It's just white on white. But got to get a ground on there. I'm not putting it on really thick because I don't want a lot of those brush strokes. And I do carry my paintings around the edge of the gallery wrap. And it's called gallery wrap, for those of you who don't know, because the canvas is wrapped all the way around the edge and stapled on the back. And that's nice. It makes a nice presentation, especially considering the fact that I don't frame my work. I leave that up to the end client, but I also exhibit my work. I exhibit my work I have in galleries and in various locations. I'm picking up a bristle that dried. That was in the gesso. Okay. But exhibiting in shows and whatnot, if you, especially the depth of this is deep. It's about 1.5 inches. And I like to carry my painting all the way over the edge. All my paintings are done that way. Some people prefer to paint the edge a color or black. The main thing is the staples do not show. The staples are hidden, so you got a nice continual line all the way down. All right. Now for blue sky, I've got a couple of blues. I have one that's kind of a cerulean and another one that's phthalo. And I'm going to cut that with some white. I'm using these plates just because they're handy. This is what we use our classes for a palette, a cheap and quick palette. This is dried paint here, so don't worry about that. All right, I'm mixing up the color. In your natural sky, if you've never noticed it, some evening, sunset, particularly when you can see, what is it, Venus in the sky, and you've got a gradation from dark up above you, and as you come to the horizon it gets lighter, almost to the point of almost having a ghostly yellow pale color. All right, so I'm going to put some blue sky down. Acrylic, if you try and cover the first time out, this is what you're going to get. It's going to be streaky. It's going to look rough. I like to paint in layers, and I teach in layers. I mean, there is a way to paint with acrylics where it's nice and blended. That's not how I normally paint. I mean, I used to decades ago. And I do have people that want to know how to paint that way. Well, folks, there's a huge resource on YouTube, literally hundreds of thousands of tutorials. And if that's really the way you want to paint, I'm probably not going to be your best resource for that. My personal paintings, if you're not familiar with them, I invite you to go to Instagram. It's my name, Lynn Looney, and you will see my abstracts and my florals. I'm nearly 70 years old. I used to paint photorealism 4 or 5 decades ago. Been there, done that. And I'm not interested in doing it anymore. But I do teach it and show it in my classes, in my workshops. And actually, I'm going to be kind of showing it here. This could be a lot more expressive. In fact, a lot of times when I know what I'm going to be painting, I put a complementary color down. So for this, I would actually be putting down a soft orange. But I'm not doing that today. I'm doing this the way I did the mural. And I'm doing this way because the mural live feed I did had so much interest and comments that I'm going a little more into detail. I'm not using a roller on this. I did use a roller when I was doing the mural. I'm just trying to get some blue color coverage right now. Oh, this may not be one of my old brushes. Old brushes don't shed this much. Alright, I'm picking up a little bit more of that phthalo. This is actually the top of my canvas, or it will be. I'm picking up a little bit more of that phthalo. And in the upper third here, it's going to be a little bit darker. It's not going to be so rough. It's not going to be so streaky when I get finished because I'm putting another layer on. I'm currently in a studio with no AC. I turned it off some time back. So I've got fans running. I have to really work fast because the fans are drying my artwork out here. That's okay. This is going to get smoothed out. And even though I'm stroking, I'm then coming back in a counter stroke. I'm continually rotating and moving this piece. I'm not going to worry about the edges right now. I'll concentrate on the heart of this. I only plan on painting probably about an hour, and then I'm purposely doing it at noontime for you folks who might want to watch during your lunch break. I don't want to get you in trouble. You don't need to get fired on my account. This is very thin. This is a thin application. If you put the paint on too thick, it'll be really hard to blend. Right now, I'm just feathering. I am using the tip, very tip edge of the brush. This is just the first application. Main thing is to begin to get a graded sky. I posted the finished mural today on my Lynn Looney Studios page. I'll put together a more in-depth slideshow. My client, SJ, lovely lady, actually was kind of enamored of what I was doing, and she sat every day and watched me all day long. I mean, all day long. I have had clients to watch me maybe, you know, for 10, 20 minutes or something, but never all day long. She just loved to watch it. She's in a beautiful new home in Middle Tennessee with lots of windows. You would think that would would be enough clouds, but she wanted clouds on the other wall as well. It's very, very lovely. Very restful. Depending on what part of the house, whether she gets morning light or evening. I'm painting, so I'm not reading comments, gang. But I would encourage you to leave comments. I will gladly get back to them. The last time the comments were, Lynn, it's blank. We can't see anything. I hear your voice, but I can't see anything. It's nothing like making a fool of yourself on live feed. Oh, anyway, okay. All right, first application. Okay, first application, not bad. And I used a big broad brush. Don't try and tackle something like this with a 1/2-inch brush. You know, I know, got paint on me. Okay, that completes part 1. Be sure and check out part 2 to see how the clouds develop in acrylics on canvas. And I invite you, please, to subscribe, like, share, and if you have any special requests, by all means put those down in the comments, and I'll try and address those with future videos. Thanks so much.